Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, we're welcoming you in another webinar of Hospitality Inside Group. My name is Nijat Aliyev, and today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and business intelligence in revenue management. My colleague Johan is going to be the one who will present this webinar. For your information, we are testing our abilities to have a live session on Facebook, um, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so you can access on the same channel as well. However, Zoom will be the priority channel for the better quality and services, of course. I would love to give a small introduction for you, as uh, already a week that we had assigned our new colleague in our team. Her name is Durdana Bircheva. She will be the one who will be in charge of PR and marketing manager of the group. Hence, for any inquiries or any request, kindly to be in contacted with her on her social media pages and as well as email address. We are going to start now, and for your information, we are going to invite our guest speaker for the next week. I'm pretty sure that you'll be interested who is this, so please bear with us to stay with us, and you'll be able to know who's that. And I'm handing over my to my colleague Jayhoon for his presentation. Thank you.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. So as Nijat mentioned, we started for the Facebook Live as well. Hopefully my friends and our colleagues are also have a ability to see the presentation. So we're gonna start with our introductory about this topic. So before I go inside of the topic more in detail, I will talk a little bit about myself, why I am entitled to talk about this topic. So my name is Johan. I am a director of revenue in the Rotan International. So I had almost 10 years experience in the hospitality industry, specifically in the hotel industry, let's say, and most of the part of that was the revenue management. In terms of the studies wise, education wise, I have went deep inside of the revenue management in my past education, with having double bachelor, double master, and the one MBA degree in hotel management, specifically in revenue management. The last one with the Guillaume University, I had the chance to go dive in the revenue management, specifically in other areas as well. So I did a lot of research on these topics, and currently I'm dealing with the revenue management and applying the most modern, let's say, implications of the revenue management. So one of them is of course, with the emerging technology, with the emerging the new world, we do have the artificial intelligence almost in every corner of our life. Actually, it was long before, but we were tend to not speak about or give any definition. It was there, but we were not talking more in details about artificial intelligence, and specifically in the business intelligence. So we will dive in and we will discuss about artificial intelligence and the business intelligence in the revenue management today. So I'm very much excited. So basically, I will ask all of you as a joke, fasten your belt. So we will start in a minute to discuss more in details of this topic. So let's go on. So basically today, I put one of the quote from Fred DeVito, one of the speakers, well-known speaker, who is saying that if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So basically, it's very right. This right quote in every kind of the industry, in every kind of the organization. If you really if you don't challenge yourself, if you don't challenge your limits, of course, it will never change you. So I guess this is a very good, perfect quote for the day. So we will take this quote and use as well as in our whole presentation, talking about some aspects of the artificial intelligence. So moving forward, as Nijat already mentioned, we do have the new team member, Durdana, already as a PR marketing manager. We do have her email already. So basically, any kind of questions related to our organization, so basically you can address to her. Okay, a couple of housekeeping notes. Before we move into deep in the analysis of our presentation. It's mainly about the recording will be shared after the webinar. So we will be having the webinar recording, and we will share separately in our YouTube channel already in place. We have shared the crisis management from last time from our expert view corner as well. So we will share this presentation as well. So I'm aiming to finish the presentation actually around 15 minutes, but it might take a little bit longer. But believe me, this topic is very much a wide and broad topic. So while you are going in depth, you really find yourself in somewhere you cannot just go out. So I try to summarize with the less information as well as a very much clarifications in order you to have basic information on what's going on in terms of the revenue management as well as the artificial intelligence. So any technical issues, please use the chat panel. Questions, inquiries, any kind of questions related to topic or not related to the topic, you can use the chat panel. Our colleagues will be assisting you as well as me. I will be doing my best to assist as well with the questions. All panelists are in mute. Please do not unmute yourself because it creates an echo and we cannot proceed with the effective presentation. As I thought, we are live in the social media channels. We are aiming in the future to be live at this almost in all channels at the same time. And please do subscribe to our social media channels. We are here for you. So basically, if you really support us, it will take further for the next level in our organization. So objective, and I guess the objective is the one of them. A major point that every presentation should have. So our objective from this presentation, so by the end of the presentation, you will be having introductory information about revenue management. So this area is very much essential because we are not talking about the full details and in depth of the revenue management. Actually, revenue management is as an essence, its essence, in the basics, it's a very big topic. So we will not be diving in. We will give some basic information about revenue management, its implications, fundamental information about artificial intelligence and the business intelligence. So another topic, which is actually very much a big topic. So we will not go into deep. We will just talk about the basic information, how it is applied to the revenue management as a tool. So agenda for us, let's go with the agenda. So in the one part of the presentation, we will be discussing about what's revenue management, what's the ingredients of or the focus areas of the revenue management, what's included to the revenue management, what are the activities and the implications in which industry this is implied, as well as the history and the evolution. On the other side, we will be discussing about what is AI and BI, what is the ingredients for this. Basically, we will dive in for the data science and the focus areas of the data science, the big data. There are a lot of terms that we will go through. So please do not be overwhelmed. If you need more information, we are here to support you. We'll give more details and as well as the more data about these topics. So we will talk about the history and evolution. In the last part of the section, we will discuss about the application of AI and the BI in the revenue management. This is the essence of our question, and we will wrap up and we will continue with the question and answers. So let's move on. The first one is the revenue management. So we will talk about these topics. So moving forward, what is revenue management? So before I move, what is the revenue management? I do have a small poll. I guess it will work. So I will launch this on your screen. So let's have a little bit poll to understand how many of you, what is the level of our knowledge about the revenue management. So to continue further, I will just launch it. Hopefully it will work. Nijat, just let me know if it is visible in your screens. So you can just choose one of them, the area that you think that this is a definition of the revenue management. Is it the revenue management? It's the financial tool assess the viability of the certain commercial decisions. Is it all about to sell the right room to the right customer at the right price at the right time? Is it the activity pursuing the strategic opportunity for particular business organizations? Is it referred to the systematic approach to the governance and the realization of value from the things that a group or entity is responsible, meaning hotel, over their whole life cycle? Is it an umbrella concept that involves understanding and overseeing and controlling your hotel's room inventory? I do have 2, I do have 3 polls. Please please be more active. No worries, it is not the examination. We just go through to understand how it is working through. On the way, I will check our chat as well. I guess it's very much interesting here for that I missed the previous topics. Okay. Please use the poll to answer. For those who are in the Facebook, so I will encourage you to log into the Zoom, and so you can just continue. So what I can see, I have at least 50% telling that it's all about to sell the right room to the right customer at the right price at the right time. We do have another 25%, 2 of them is referred to the systematic approach to the governance and the realization of value from the things that a group or entity is responsible over a whole life cycle, as well as we do have the one, which is umbrella concept that involves understanding, overseeing, and controlling your hotel's rooms. So I guess the answer is actually is the one that's almost a 60%. We do have another person who gave their note on the first one, which is it is all about to sell the right room to the right customer. Yeah. So I will finish this one. Yes, this is all about. So just share the results. So yes, it is all about to sell the right room category, room product to the right customer at the right price at the right time. So perfectly fine. I guess it's worked very well. So we will move forward. So yes, it's a set of revenue maximization strategies, tactics meant to improve the profitability of certain businesses. So it's specifically different businesses involved here. Hotel is one of them. This was defined by the American Hotel Lodging Education University, as well as we do have the Cornell. Cornell actually, this is well known, and this is the particular what was in our poll. It is to sell the right room to the right customer at the right price at the right time. So I tend to add to this definition, right distribution channel with the best cost efficiency term. So you need to talk about what is the cost, what is the interrelation between the channel, because if you are selling the wrong product to you can do the first part of the selling right room to the right customer at the right price at the right time, but not on the correct right channel. So because every day revenue management is getting more complicated, and very much if the supply is increasing in the market in terms of the hotels new openings, you need to be more aggressive. So I guess the distribution channels are one of the vital topic that we need to cover in the essence of the revenue management. But simply for the who doesn't know anything about the revenue management, this is what it is about. So this was a simple actually joke that I brought here as well from my colleagues. So basically, the revenue management is a science created to convince you that the standard room rate of $500 instead of $200, which regularly you sold over the, for let's say 1 year, on New Year's Eve is very fair rate. So we as a revenue managers or revenue leaders, we assess the demand, we see the demand, and as per demand and the supply, you can define your pricing strategy up and down. So if you are selling $200, selling $500, we are here to convince you as a customer that this is actual fair price. So this is a simple term. Moving forward, we'll talk about the RM ingredients, what is included. So basically, RM revenue management is dealing most of the time with the demand and the forecast, displacement analysis, which we carry about in terms of the groups, if a certain group is viable to take or not. we do have the historical demand and booking patterns. So basically, it is dealing with the what have you done past 3 months or past 3 years or 1 year, and what is the booking patterns, how the booking curve is doing, how it is working in terms of the people's customers booking your hotel. So according to that, you define the segmentation, which is another ingredient, because you need to segment your target customers. So according to the segmentation, you can understand which price is right to the right customer. You remember what we were talking about, the definition? So that definition actually it incorporates what we are talking here. So we use as well the information system. Actually, it is more related with the revenue management systems. Then we talk about overbooking, which is another level. So there are actually a bunch of activities with the revenue management. So this is the basics actually comes with the yield management. So past in the 1990s, this was the major topic that they were covering. But what happened in the next, we will discuss. So we will also, another point is the pricing and the inventory management. Actually, it is the part of the yield management. And we will discuss what is the yield management and the revenue management in the historical evolution. Moving forward, areas of implications. Where does the overall revenue management is applied? In hotel, we apply this in the rooms, F&B, spa, parking, as well as the meeting and events. So wherever you have the capacity and the perishable products, you can apply this as the concept to access to get more revenue maximization at the end of the day. Because these areas, you can have the high demand, you can assess the demand, and you can work around with your supply as well as with your pricing strategies, certain seasons, and get more rooms revenue. So at the end of the day, your hotel doesn't have the only standard rooms. You do have the other room categories in the hotel, which you can assess, and as per demand, you can increase or decrease the rate and do some analysis before doing these activities. So other areas that actually revenue management came from is airline business. We do have a car rent actually who implied revenue management after the hotel industry, extensively ads. So basically TV ads, all other kind of ads that's work is around. So for example, I'm based in the Qatar. For example, in Qatar, we do have the FIFA World Cup is coming. So basically, if you would like to run an ad related to the World Cup, it is very much expensive rather than you launch a small ad, which is dealing with some sort of the event in the country, small event, which doesn't make a big impact. So they have analyzed a lot of demand patterns and came up with the idea that to apply the revenue management, like the TV commercials, for example. Running anything in the TV on New Year Eve is not the same that you are launching in the other days. So other areas is the cruise, textile, others like the golf, casinos, automobiles. So every industry, they all are actually applying the revenue management. But why it is suitable to apply the revenue management? This is the question. Why all these industries actually covers and takes the revenue management as the best practice and started to apply? This is because fixed capacity, perishable products. So fixed capacity, you have a rooms, 300 rooms, so you have a fixed capacity. So basically, if the demand is increasing, you have a fixed capacity, you have a chance to get high paying customers in. So perishable products, what's the perishability? Perishability is that you cannot store product to the next day. For example, in hotel industry, we are as a revenue people, as the hotel leaders, we are not selling the room. We are selling the room night. So basically, room night of today is the 9th of May, is not the same 10th of May. Every day you have different variable costs associating with each night for the rooms. So basically, it has the fixed cost as well as the variable cost, which is actually makes it more viable to apply the revenue management and to get it occupied and to get revenue maximization. So here is the third one: high fixed cost and the low variable cost. Fixed costs like the wages, taxes, all the utilities, and with the low variable cost, it means that as per occupancy, you can adjust your variable cost, which is actually amenities in the room. For example, you put some flowers, you put something related with the occupancy. If you have an increasing occupancy, your variable cost and the amenities that you are putting in the rooms is increasing accordingly. Product can be priced differently. You can price different rates per room category, per time, per attributes as well. We will talk in more in detail. Demand evolves. So basically you have a demand in the market. You are discussing more in the demand, how it evolves. So basically the demand that you had yesterday is not the same for today. So basically you have the increase in the demand on the next day or decrease in demand. So your 9th of May is not the same in terms of the demand, people coming to your hotel compared to the 10th of May. So you need to understand basic concepts in order to assess the best price. Maybe you need to increase the rate, maybe you need to decrease the rate. Product can be sold in advance, so you use the advance purchases. People use their advance purchases and they get the early booking as well with the low rate. Market can be segmented. You can segment and sell the best prices. So activities in this, in revenue management, specifically what we are applying here, it is invaluable. So basically, it helps you predict the consumer demand to optimize the inventory as well as the price availability in order to maximize the revenue growth. That's why it's invaluable. So in the hotel industry, if you can predict the consumer behavior in advance, you can define your commercial strategy accordingly. There was a survey in the US that they were doing the survey in the general managers to understand how your commercial activities and promotional strategies actually in line with what you are thinking for. 65% they were not sure if their commercial promotional rates or commercial strategies are actually active, actually effective, because they just launch a promotion without doing any analysis. They are not sure what they are doing actually. So that's why it makes invaluable. You do the prediction of the consumer behavior according to the demand, and you optimize the inventory and the pricing according to what you have predicted. That's why it's invaluable, because everybody would like to know the future. What's the consumer behavior? For example, in COVID-19 period, what's the consumer behavior? People are sitting at home, they are not going outside, they are not using any hotel facilities. So your hotel is not benefiting. So you understand the behavior of the people. It's proactive. Revenue management needs to be always proactive, challenge the resources, gather more information from the market. So you need to understand, you need to first to understand what's going in the market. If you are sitting and you just understand you already had 50 rooms occupied on the same day for the same night, booked in the 50 rooms, and you are not aware what's going in the market, so basically you laid out money on the table. You are not aware what is happening in the market. So basically what the revenue managers, they are doing, they are always in the communication with the sales, because sales guys are outside. You need to be very much in the communication with them. First. Second, you can have the Google alerts. You can put the Google alerts and put, for example, I'm in Doha, putting the Doha, and anything happening related to Doha, it comes to my email from the news agency, so you can understand what kind of events happening. So you have a chance to be one step ahead, or talking to the revenue managers in the market or sales guys in the market. That's why it's unique. Why it is unique? Because you are dealing with the marketing, you are dealing with the sales, because this is multidisciplinary actions. Blends a lot of operational marketing, financial marketing, the operations in the back, in order to get the high revenue out of the overall the operation that we are doing. Moving forward, it's functional. It's always functional because you have a dynamic and business cycle. The way you can just align the components that you are getting from marketing, you are getting from the operation team to understand customer behavior. You talk with the marketing, you talk with the sales, and you put everything in place. If you put everything in place with seamless integration, it will, of course, work as very well in terms of your commercial activities. So what is evolution, which is actually one of the main points that we will be discussing. Here you go. We start first in 1978. So 1978 we had this airline industry with the British Airways. They have started to work around the early birds packages to apply to their customers. So this was the actually emerging yield management, emerging. They were calling these differentiated fare products, the beginning of the 1978. Then what happened? American Airlines saw this application. They started to change the name to the price discrimination technique. Because of the discrimination technique that didn't work very well, they changed it to the yield management, working with the inventory and the pricing. So here it comes, what is the difference between the revenue management and the yield management? Yield management mostly dealing with the pricing and with the inventory. So you work around with your inventory, you assess your demand, and you do the pricing. This is a three division under the yield management. But the revenue management is a big concept, is dealing more greater picture to understand 1 year ahead, almost 10 months ahead, 3 months ahead, talking with sales, talking with marketing. So it makes them revenue management as a big, more commercial, let's say, operation. That's why revenue management is different from the yield management. Yield management is the subdivision of the revenue management. In 1983 to 1987, the American Airlines made this as a yield management. What happened in this area when one of the interviewer, the CEO of the American Airlines, were discussing what they are doing, the Marriott CEO at that time, Mr. Bill Marriott, so they have took this system. They thought that, okay, this is our products also perishable. Our products are also you can assess and we do have the fixed costs, we do have the variable costs, we do have the demand evolve. So what we can do, we can assess the same mentality to the system. So they started to adapt the Marriott to their hotels, and that year they were really getting almost I guess that 40% over what they have budgeted in that year. Even the American Airlines, since that year, they were really very much, their share prices are increased because they got a lot of revenues at that year, and they were calling this. Then they have changed the name. Actually, it was coming from the expected marginal seat revenue, which actually British Airways then adopted this as in 1983. Moving forward, then the Marriott created the revenue management organization within the headquarters. They started to implement a lot of revenue management techniques. They brought a lot of programmers outside and to deal with to build up the core of the revenue management that they do have right now, that they call it the one yield system, which is actually very much sophisticated system. At that time, Ideas revenue management system was founded. Ideas is one of the pioneers, third-party company which actually launched the revenue management system that we are using, most of the companies are using. 1993, it was changed to the demand forecast system, was built to forecast the guest booking patterns. So you were understanding more what is the behavior of the people, because before we didn't have the segmentation, before we didn't understand the behavior, we just have the price and the inventory, that's it. But then they understand that, okay, the booking patterns and people's behavior can vary. So in 1993, they have adopted some changes in the demand forecast. Then the 1995 rental car firms adopted this, and actually National Car Rental, they actually they were survived because of the revenue management. They were almost bankrupt, but they have adopted the revenue management, and that year they have actually survived. And also TV ads, they have launched the revenue management for their systems, as well as the Ford, for example, they used as well the revenue management back in that year. In 2000 year, virtually all major airlines, hotel, cruise lines, all the rental cars from the US, particularly in the US, they started to use them. The revenue management in the yield management, let's say, in all their areas. In 2005, actually, it was the major point where Intercontinental Hotel, they came out talking about the price sensitivity, because your customer, you can understand the behavior of the customer, but you need to understand another thing, which is actually price sensitivity, which brought them to the topic of the willingness to pay, VTP, so for WPTP. So how much customer can willing to pay out of his customer, what is his limitations. So they did some other algorithms and worked on some functional areas to assess. In 2010, actually, there was started more artificial intelligence coming in. So we had the because in the 1978 we had more internet in our life started to emerge, and Microsoft is started to build up a lot of new applications. So we started to understand in 2010 the word of big data meaning more data in, so basically you can use this data for better commercial activities. Then that's why the revenue management systems companies, as well as the hotel industry, companies, they started to understand more price elasticity, more local market price elasticity, because one market can differ from another market. So they started to adjust the algorithms accordingly to understand more in detail. Then they moved forward. Then they moved to the lengths of stays. They have adjusted another lengths of stays to understand more how it is worked. And the supervised semi and the supervised level of the machine learning came in 2010. 2012, they started to use more supervised techniques. I will explain everything in the next slides, because this is majority of the dealing, how they started to use the machine learning as a part of their. Before, there are some divisions under machine learning they started to use as a data, like a semi-supervised, supervised, and the reinforcement levels, which they started to use more in 2012. So excessive use of this data. So we had a lot of data. As the supply increased, new openings, hotels came in the life. So basically, hotel companies forced to put more pressure on the revenue management, more investment on the revenue management functionality to investigate of the consumer behavior, like other industries. So then in 2014, now we live, up until now, we are living the deep learning. So more in deep learning of the machine learning process, more reinforcement technique they started to learn data. So basically the old data, you give some labeled and unlabeled data to the system, the computer programs, they are doing all the calculation that used to do in 1983. So basically before we were doing everything in Excel, everything in manual. Now through this evolution, which is actually almost 30 years, everything is done in the back of the revenue management systems, and the people today are not doing most of their job, revenue management activities, in the Excel. So moving forward, so second part, we discussed about the revenue management. So how it looks, how it is implied in the several industries, just to recap, how the evolution of the revenue management, how they started to use the first data, because back in 1980s, you didn't have a lot of data. While you are emerging and you are growing as a the system, you have more data, so it enabled some revenue management system as well as the hotel industry to use this data in business intelligence as well as in the machine learning, meaning in artificial intelligence, to do all these activities that the revenue managers, they used to put a lot of efforts trying to solve out some demand forecasted that these systems were doing for them. So we go in the deep of the artificial intelligence, discussed about what it is, artificial intelligence and the BI, and its ingredients, about the data science, focus areas, what are the activities and implication, and of course the history and evolution. So as we understood the basics of the revenue management, how we are using this, how it is evolved, but actually we are talking now about another section, which is actually were hand on hand with the revenue management since it began. So it is not the new techniques, it was there, but we forget to tell or to give the definition or to use these in our terms. So now we started to use it and talk about this as artificial intelligence, because it is almost in our all corners of our life. So what's AI? So basically AI, there was simple terms about the topic, artificial intelligence as any task performed by a program or the machines. If a human carried out the same activity, we would say that the human had to apply intelligence to accomplish the task. So back in 1915, actually, there was people who were doing the researches. They started to do, like these two scientists, McCarthy and Damansky, they were discussing about this, and they didn't give the formal actually definition. So they came up with this informal definition that if about the human intelligence. So there is a human intelligence, you are asking the machine to apply the same intelligence in whatever yet they do. So you give the data, you are asking the machine to do the task for you in a simple way. So even the Alan Turing, which is well known about these topics, he wrote in the 1950s that we place something behind the curtain and it speaks with us. If we can't make difference between it and the human being, then it will be the artificial intelligence. It's very much informal, but at the same time, it's very simple as it is. So you can understand that there will be time that we will not understand, even we are living at that time, that you will not you cannot differentiate if the person talking to you is the machine or there is a human behind. So artificial intelligence, then the focus areas or the skills, let's say, we have three, which is learning, reasoning, and self-correction. Just to bring your mind here, so learning, reasoning, and self-correction, actually this is what the human is doing. So we are learning something from when we are kids, when we are very young at age, then we move at 10 years old, we start to reason, to understand, question, we are making a lot of questions to our parents. Then we do a lot of mistakes. Our mistakes at the beginning are a lot. We cannot understand. We start to reason. Then starting from 14s and the 10 to 14s, it depends for the kids. Moving on the later ages, you start to correct yourself. You understand what is the causes and what is the results. Then you can understand. So what the scientists did, they told that, okay, let's use these focus areas actually in the person that the human is doing in the machine. So focuses on the learning starts with the data. So you give a lot of data, you give the algorithms for the system to think, because it is at the beginning you give the system some structured and semi-structured or sometimes labeled, unlabeled data for the system to understand what it is. Then you give him to reasoning. So it focuses on choosing the right algorithm to reach a desired outcome. So why we need the machine? We need the machine to do the job for us that we used to do for 10 days, 5 days, even the 1 month. So the machine can do this and bring the same outcome that I used to bring. So that's why you feed the information, the system, so system can do some algorithms in the behind. You of course, you are giving some algorithms with the systems in the back, so it can produce the outcome that you normal as a human were producing. So it's designed to continue to fine-tune the algorithm. So basically, in the next level, it starts to correct itself. So basically, at the beginning, it takes a lot of data, cannot understand the data. You give some algorithms, it makes some mistakes. The accuracy level of the outcome is around 75%. Then it moves to the 85. You do another training to the system, because it also needs training like the human. How you are training your kids? You are sitting with them, you are teaching them something, then they reflect, they recap the overall what's going on, what's explained to them, and they apply this to the various areas and they correct themselves. So up until the full accuracy, 99%, 98%, the system is doing the self-correction, training the models and taking the outcomes. Then it sees the mistakes, it goes back and do the same topic again and again up until you get them information. In simply, it is the picture that in front of you. Basically, there is a parent teaching the kid from this early ages what needs to be done, giving some data, explaining, reasoning, also helping with the reasoning, because while you are explaining, you are giving the kid some algorithms. So explaining what he needs to push in the, for example, the buttons, how he needs to use the PC in front of you or the laptop in front of him. So one time, second time, he does a lot of mistakes, but eventually, because we talk about evolution, that's why I was talking about the evolution of the systems. So person start to grow and the evolution take the natural aspect. Moving to the history and evolution, artificial intelligence, actually it was in back 1950s. You can see that artificial intelligence actually encompasses, here you can see that the machine learning and the deep learning actually inside of the artificial intelligence. So there is no specific limits, and you can tell that this is specifically for the machine learning or the artificial intelligence. So basically it encompasses all the areas of the artificial intelligence. Machine learning is what we will discuss more in details. Just giving some points. I put some of the definitions here while we will give you the presentation as well, so you can have understanding of the picture. So we will not go in dive talking about all the terms, how it is used. So actually it is like the artificial intelligence you can think as the umbrella, and the machine learning is, and the deep learning is the subdivisions under this umbrella. And it started in 1980s. We started to use the machine learning with the different algorithms, with the programming that we used to have. Starting from till 2010, we had more unlabeled data we were giving to the machine, and the machine can understand and come up with the outcome without us giving him the algorithms, without him giving any labels to the data. So moving forward, let's I will play this file. So basically this is the artificial intelligence result, where you use the machine learning as well as the deep learning. You have seen these kind of videos all around. I hope it will work. So yeah, that is actually the overall the layout of what's as an example it comes, so you can understand that there are a lot of data that feed this robot. Basically height, what is the way he needs to jump, what is the risk factors that he needs to understand, what needs to be done when he's doing the another turn of the jump. So this is the ultimate, let's say, result of the machine learning and deep learning on as artificial intelligence. Moving forward with the machine learning, as we talk with the examples are better. Let's say how many of you have seen this in the Google. So currently it's in every corner. It is not something unusual. You see this kind of stuff around, but you don't actually realize what is the science in the back. So for example, what is the weather? It automatically gives, it detects your location, it goes to the weather forecast, grabs the data, puts it here, and gives you visual data. Even so, you are not clicking the enter, it gives already in your search box. This is the making your life much easier. Time consumption, so you decrease time consumption and increase your effectiveness. So this is the result. For example, like with the Office 365, many of you have used the Outlook. Early in the morning, you come at the work, you open your Outlook. In the Outlook, in the corner, you do have them. It comes up with some of the suggestions saying that, okay, Johan, you have sent the email to the Mike regarding about the topic to discuss, but he didn't get back to you. So would you like to do another update? Okay, it goes, it sees that almost 1 week I have sent his email, it didn't go through, he didn't reply. So he is reminding me, actually making my life easier to use the system and to get the ultimate goal, which is actually effectiveness as an organization. I would like to get this synced down with Mike, and it is reminding you, or giving an attachment saying that, okay, we will sit on the 5th of May, give me your thoughts. It comes and telling me, okay, on the 5th of May, and you didn't, you don't know what the meeting should be happening, but you didn't get an answer from the Mike. So different kind of the activities in the machine learning is coming in, and it is in all over our life corners, let's say. This is another video. I will not show the whole video because we are running out of the time. So basically this is the...
Go is a very ancient game. It's probably the most complex game humans play. There's more configurations of the board than there are atoms in the universe.
In the game of Go, we need this amazingly complex, intuitive machinery, which people previously thought was only possible within the human brain, to even have an idea of who's ahead and what the right move is that we should play there.
So our program combines lots of different techniques together, and for the first time ever, AlphaGo, our program, beats a professional player at Go.
I will stop here. It's a long video, so you can have a watch in the YouTube as well as so basically you have seen in the past in the like in 1990s, actually, there was a machine, PC, they won the Garry Kasparov, which was a well-known chess player in that time, and the chess. So chess and the combinations, there's a little bit limited compared to the Go. The Go game is the well-known and is one of the sophisticated game, and there are a lot of algorithm in place. So you need to apply a lot of possibilities here. The ultimate goal of this game is to control 50% of the table with your color. So what the deep learning is doing, actually, before machine learning, what he was doing, he was looking for the Kasparovs, let's say, take the example of the chess. He was looking for the attempts that the Kasparov is doing, the possible reactions, understanding the next move. But in the now, it is concentrating on the ultimate goal, which is result-based, yani winning at the end of the game. And he's not concentrating on the next move or the 5 next move. He's doing all this reasoning and correcting his accuracy over and over to understand what's the best solution at the end of the match and to beat this European champion, who actually was the 5-time European champion. So this was the deep learning, which stands for DL. We move to forward. Areas of implications, as I told, speech recognition, Google Assistant, Siri, Alexa, Amazon Alexa. You have seen, you talk to the phone, somebody from outside who is not aware of this, they will call you crazy, who is talking to someone from the phone, something from the phone as he's giving. So we didn't think about this, actually, it will be in our life. Maybe it is very much simple for now, but if you go inside, for example, Google has the full course of the machine learning. You can just go and inside have a free full stack course finished from from 0 to hero. So you can understand how it is working. You will see actually it is really very much sophisticated system that the humans actually came up. So speech recognition is one of them, image recognition. So the system can understand which image is the cat or the dog, and he can understand not only the cat and the dog, but actually different cats, because some cats can be bigger than the other one. Some cat can be hidden under the bed, but for example, his only ear is visible. So image recognition can identify that one. So for example, sentiment analysis, news aggregation. The other day I was talking about the future trends. I was telling that there will be time that we will be doing the aggregation. For example, you are telling the system, for example, Alexa from Amazon, you can tell him that give me only the positive news. So what he can do, he will read all the information for you at 6 o'clock early in the morning while you are doing your coffee at home. Alexa can reply to you with the best positive information in the headlines of the well-known newspapers, and giving you some insights about, giving like wrap up what's going on in the world. And if you would like the positive numbers, because there are a lot of negative information out of there, you will just sort it out. Actually, it is there. Text generation. You talk and it is generated automatically. So we do have automated vehicles, which is Tesla, image translation and transmission. The other day I have seen that there you can use your phone, and in your laptop you can have the Photoshop open. You can open the Photoshop at the same time in your phone. You can take the photo of anything and you just direct to your Photoshop on your laptop. It will integrate it to that Photoshop. So basically you don't need to take all photos or use your USB and put it on Photoshop. It will just directly come there. And the translations and all kind of translations. You can take a photo and just ask the system to translate a specific area. For example, something in Chinese, you tell that, okay, tell me what is this signage. You just copy and you put in Google Translate, it gives you what is going on. So what is BI actually? BI is the more on the talking with the, dealing with more in the big data, and specifically dealing with the historical data, not on the future data. So business intelligence leverages software and services to transform the data that you have already in place as a hotel industry to actionable insight that inform organization to organization strategic and tactical business decisions. So basically it use the data that you have stored in your PMS, property management systems, and to leverage any kind of commercial activities you would like to launch. So it gives you broader information, what needs to be launched. You need to understand what kind of nationality is coming, for example, there are a lot of tools around where you can just transmit the data to these tools. These tools will give you instant graphs what is going on. So for time being, most of the companies, they are using the Excel. If you are well advanced in the Excel, you can do some graphs. Like for example, here I'm doing some automation with the PMS. The PMS data is coming automatically, feeding my Excel files, is giving almost the same data what the Tableau reader or any kind of the business intelligence tools are doing. So this is like a finding from the historical data for your better use. So the data, I will just skip that one. The data can be that's what included here. Actually, it is more on the data that you have in the PMS, which is actually historical data. The tools that's used here, it's a Tableau, ERP, Google Analytics, Microsoft Power BI, digital dashboards that you can do through the data mining. So you are doing data mining is another area that dealing with the data. You are just exploring all the data, find it from the semi and the structured data, you come up with the commercial decision. So you can just, while you were doing in Excel, for example, 12 hours to understand what's happening in your hotel, you can come early in the morning, open one of these tools, which is integrated to your PMS or data warehouse. It will take all kind of information, and you just, with the one click, you are ready for your morning briefing to explain what's going on in your hotel, in the what's happening, what happened in the history. So this is more interactive reports. It is dealing with what if scenarios to understand what is there if you change your mind and launch this promotion instead of the promotion that's already in place. So it is giving you more in-depth analysis of the historical data. But here comes another big topic, which is actually big data. Big data is the more broader topic actually inside the business intelligence. So big data is dealing more on the future as well as the historical data. So it is taking more business intelligence reports, let's say historical data from business intelligence. Also, it is taking more from the future data on the books, any kind of reservations coming with specific labels, and it is merged in the tools like in the Hadoop, Spark, Hive, which is some of them I used. Using some of the programs like R system and the Python, you can do all kind of the algorithms that can really bring more information. Why we talk the business intelligence, actually business intelligence more on historical. If you go in depth and you analyze, while you start with the business intelligence and you go inside and you analyze, you can actually apply the big data, using the big data instead of the business intelligence, and come up with the more sophisticated tools with the Python and doing some Excel sheets specifically, because some of these tools are very much expensive. So some companies, some small hotels cannot afford. So what you can do, you can launch the Python, which is actually the online resource open for everyone. You can have the course and use this data, and with the R system as well, another program, understand your data and automatically make some kind of charts, which is actually almost the same what the Tableau or the Google Analytics and Microsoft Power BI is working. Actually, like Matteo say that in the back of these tools that business intelligence is using, actually built on some of these programming languages like C# on the Python, which is Python something dealing with them on the machine learning. So there are some structured data and semi-structured data for the for the business intelligence, specifically for the if you go with the big data as well, it is also the data that we have the structured, which you have the labels. For example, let's say reservation, for example, the name of the person or the age of the person, or these are labels. For example, the age of the person, what is the nationality of the person, how many of the, let's say UK nationalities coming to your hotel. So you can understand and do some graphs, and which gives you understand what is your nationality mix, let's say, in a one term action. You go to the meeting, in your strategy meeting, you discuss, you show your general manager, okay, so we see that the UK nationalities are coming, which are the high consumers. So this is what we can do, like for them, coming with a special promotion for them, or giving more UK friendly products for them, or US customers, or someone coming from the China as a group. So what you can do. So this kind of tools helping you to analyze data that might take 12 hours, more than that, even 2 days, 5 days, in an instantly come up with the action. So this is overall what's happening. This is the business intelligence. So moving to the data science, which is I need to cover as well. Data science is also the inside of the big data. I will show the whole map for you, so it will not be overwhelmed. I can understand that until now there are a lot of terms, but you need to understand these terms to analyze how the revenue management is using. So the data science, it's something, the science dealing with actually all the data. There are a lot of scientific methods, processes, algorithms that you are doing through the programming languages to analyze big data and use these in the predictive modeling. Predictive modeling, which as a revenue managers, we are doing. The systems, all systems, revenue management in the bags, they are using the predictive modeling. We are predicting the future from different layouts, from different let's say data that's inside. Remember, we were talking about big data. Big data is covering the future as well as the historical data. So while using the predictive modeling with the data science, you can use these both prototypes, let's say, for the both data to understand what's going to happen in the future. So what might possibly happen in the future? This is the ultimate goal of every organization. Everybody would like to understand what's going to happen in the future to come up with the best solution, best commercial activities in order to create higher revenue, the revenue maximization of the company. So predictive modeling, it's predicting the future. Data science, science dealing with the big data in simple terms. So to sum up, I brought this topic so to understand what is all about. And the way is the revenue management. Revenue management is almost in the middle of this topic, using some artificial intelligence, some business intelligence, some data. So you can see that there are three big bulbs here: artificial intelligence, business intelligence, and the data science. Data science encompasses with the big data and the predictive analysis. So there is a data. You have the data science to take this big data and to use these predictive analysis, predictive models. So these predictive models used by the machine learning see takes here as well, to use in deep learning as well, questioning. There is a question and answer, cause and the result, to understand what's going to happen and what is the best scenario out of it. So this goes, of course, there is while you are using the predictive modeling and applying with different, let's say, algorithms, you are actually going the borders of the machine learning. So you are saying, okay, I do have the data, I do have the business intelligence here. Why not to make the system to decide for myself, instead of me? So because in the future, you will see this bulb, this business intelligence getting smaller and smaller, because now data is used by the artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning and the deep learning, to generate some actions even you are not sorted out. You got my point? So basically how it comes, that it works. So it goes and sees some actions, some plans, and early in the morning while you are heading up your office, you can have the results even you didn't think about, because while you are thinking, you are thinking about the areas that you were thinking. So for example, some areas that you would like to show, maybe you are showing some nationality statistics, but what artificial intelligence can do, it can say, hey, take a moment, actually don't look at that nationality statistics. You need to look, for example, customer behavior. You are overpriced, let's say. So which is used in the revenue management system. So, okay, for example, what you can do, your occupancy is going down, you have the variable cost is going on. So you need to take this model in order to change the existing model and to have the less consumption. So business intelligence time to time will be getting more smaller, and artificial intelligence will be doing most of this stuff that the current revenue managers are doing. There are another bunch of questions related to this, asking that what's going to happen with the revenue management, which I will cover in the next presentation. So you remember this picture? So this picture, it's showing that we are, as a revenue manager, this lady is a revenue manager, I am feeding the information in the system, revenue management systems, with the data, which in the later stage, actually, the system will not need me at all. It will do all the processes. Already now, we do have some activities already processed by the system. While I'm sleeping at home, my revenue management system already is doing some of sort of the recommendations, but he's not even, sometimes he's recommending, sometimes he is recommending at the same time applying without me, because system cannot sleep. He is not sleeping. I am sleeping. I'm a human. I have the needs, but the system, he's taking the data over after the night audit. He came up with the recommendations. He's saying, okay, hey, take a moment. Johan is sleeping. I will not use the. I will not lose the time. I will apply this bar rate, for example, price for certain room type. So early in the morning, I will be advanced compared to any other revenue manager in the office, in the other hotels, or in other competition. So we are feeding the system to work for us. So next section is the implication. So let's go to the implication, and we will wrap up, and I will take a little bit more time. The scope of the revenue management was at that time in 1970 up until the 2000, we were talking all about prices, inventory, rooms. So these were the main three topics that we were talking. This is actually all about the yield management. It is not the revenue management. So then we started, as we started to get more data, as think about that the child is growing and growing. Over time, he's growing. Think about the system like that. His child is a kid. He's over time is growing. He's getting more data inside. He's learning more and getting more information. He's memorizing. He's memorizing a lot of stuff. He's reasoning. So data science comes in place in around 2000 year, more ineffective with the artificial intelligence, which is actually machine learning. Then it started to extensively apply it in the revenue management. Before it was minimal, then we started to use this extensive. Now it is called revenue management. So we are dealing with the digital marketing, which revenue management, most of the people, they are not dealing, some of the people, they think that actually revenue management is all about changing the rate in the booking.com. So actually it is more than that. So if you look the scope, actually these guys are dealing with the digital marketing, getting some data from them, analyzing this data with the business intelligence, or doing with the machine learning algorithms in the back, who is capable of doing this, using some programming languages. You can understand what's happening here. So you can understand more business information in the system, what's happening in the channels, what's the trends are going in the market. So everything is gathered by the sum of the machine learning techniques. At the same time, the communications that you are doing human to human, you can come and you can manage all these areas that used to have limited impact. Now you can explicitly apply the extensive the methods of the revenue management. You can do more effective understanding of what's your demand. Because right now, if I am a revenue manager sitting at my office doing my old strategies, talking commercial strategies, but my marketing director sitting in the next door, if he doesn't understand what I am doing here, if we don't have the communication, if we don't analyze certain algorithms with her, she will not have enough understanding where she needs to put her marketing budget. Maybe newspapers are not so very much useful data, useful area we need to put our input. Maybe social media is the emerging and the everyday emerging trend for the hotel industry. So basically what we are doing, you can do the business intelligence reports and come up with the machine learning techniques if you are aware. If you are not aware, there are a bunch of courses to understand and apply this in your current hotel. So you can understand, and you sit with her, you explain her, okay, hey Jeremy, so basically we do have this data saying that newspapers is not working. I got some news agencies, I get some statistics. We see that actually there is no worth to invest here. I am thinking more on journals. Journals are emerging in some other markets. In some other markets, social media is one of the drivers. On that, you start to invest some of your resources, particularly with effective strategy, rather than just leaving the money on the table. So moving forward, so in the revenue management, going in deep, now we'll take more how it is used. So we have 4 areas that we are using the machine learning. This is a forecasting demand, which is we need to understand what is the prediction, what's going to happen, because my GM, my organizational head, needs to understand what's going to happen, so he can just work collaboratively with other departments and optimize the resources accordingly. That's why the revenue management was in need. If you remember in the back in our slides. Then another one is the forecasting the supply, because you need to understand you have 300 rooms, but actually how many of them you can sell. Maybe you are expecting some cancellations from what you were forecasting. Maybe you need to do some overbooking. Maybe you do 310 instead of 300. So you think that you do analysis, which is actually machine learning is doing, some of the revenue management systems are doing, giving you the indication that, hey guy, just a moment, you're gonna lose 10 of the rooms, which will be good going the forecasting, and you will not close the perfect sale. So please do the overbooking, so to maximize the occupancy and maximize the revenues. So remember, every empty room is cost. So that's why we do have the CPOR, cost per occupied room. Every hotel, general managers, everyone, then the commercial teams, they need to understand what is the cost per occupied room, what is the room cost. Once you understand, you will be thriving more, trying to push the limits to occupy all the rooms with the highest possible rate. Then you can understand the out of order the rooms. Maybe some of the rooms are not is not for the sale. So that's when once you understand. Then another topic is going price sensitivity, willingness to pay analysis, because some of the revenue managers, and I can say that even some of the big chains, they are not doing the willingness to pay analysis, which is actually adopted from some other industry to understand how much money customer has in his pocket, split it for the service that he's gonna get. Maybe 200 is high. You see the high demand, you are 95%, your property, your focus showing 99%. From 100 real, from 100, let's say US dollar, you're increasing to $1,000. But actually the demand that's gonna come, this rest of the 4% actually is not the person actually gonna pay this 900 difference. That's why you need to understand the sensitivity analysis. Purchasing power, what's the purchasing power in the country? Maybe you are living in the country, the purchasing power is low. So rate levels analysis, you need to understand that which rate level is the best match for the specific period. Then you go to the commercial part where you do some BI applications, and you are understanding what is the length of stay. So you, for example, you have a Tableau reader, you have a Microsoft BI interrelated with your PMS. You can extract the report, understand what's the length of stays, nationality, age groups, repeat case. How many of my customers percentage are the repeat case? Should I do something for them? Maybe you are not a chain hotel, you don't have the member rates, but maybe you can launch something different for them to explicitly give them some advancement or the priority over the others. For example, the room type analysis. Which rooms are selling better? Maybe your twin rooms are stuck. You never done any analysis to understand what should I do. Maybe you give the room types most of the time to the groups in order to keep these rooms busy. Some groups, they are coming as a sports events, they would like to twin. Instead, you are giving some of them to the kings. So maybe you can just utilize and give more twins. And for example, channel analysis to understand which channels are working. Because this channel analysis will give you, while you are doing BI analysis, you will understand that through which channel I am getting most of my revenue. Maybe you are getting most of your revenue from your brand.com, but you are investing a lot of, you are giving high commission, or you are giving your OTAs more privileges, or giving the low discounts in the OTAs compared to the OTAs. That's the area you need to understand what is the lead generation channels for you. Sources, let's say, members, the KPIs you need to understand. So all these KPIs are coming with as a package in the BI tool, which you can see, analyze the historical data, and come up with the strategies in your commercial meeting early in the morning or strategy meeting to decide best actions in place. So while you are doing this, where do the artificial intelligence and the machine learning stands? where is the BI standing. So BI widely used partially used in the first areas. In most of the high chains, they are doing this on the RMS, which is actually fully accomplished with the RMS systems from their revenue management systems of the chain. If you are an independent hotel, you will be using maybe the BI applications. You got my point? So you can use the BI application because you cannot afford the revenue management system to analyze all this data. But most of the chain, they are using the BI applications here, where you have the historical data, which revenue management system, most of them, almost 90%, they are not giving, which actually will come in the future, where you can understand everything in one place, which I will explain. So basically, machine learning is going here. So basically, partially putting them, taking some commercial activities. So once you understand which application used in which area, you will understand. So wrap up of this slide. BI application you can use in the independent hotels where you don't have the revenue management system in all 4 areas. If you are a big chain, you have a revenue management system which is doing the first 3 sections, you have to find out the solution to the 4th section. If you are good in Excel, you do some Excel tools, some automation, some PMS reports coming early in the morning, feeding your reports, and you are ready to the morning briefing, or you use the BI, which is in the interrelation with the PMS, which gives you perfect and uncertain fees. Moving forward. So moving forward is the last slide. Bear with me. So this is the area that I would like to explain, and you will understand how it works. RMS systems, revenue management systems, analyzing demand, supply, price, inventory, restrictions, everything in one place. There was a time all these processes were done by the single human being, which were called revenue managers. Now, most of these tasks are not done by the revenue management. The systems are doing for them, making them more effective through the machine learning. Machine learning, they have supervised functionality, unsupervised, as well as the reinforcement, as well as the deep learning. So supervised is, there is labeled data. You are giving the labeled example to the system. There is, for example, age. For example, let's talk about the demand. You are giving the historical data, which is, let's say, every Saturday, you have this much room nights, rooms revenue, ADR. You are feeding the system, which is fed by the Opera automatically after the night round. Revenue management systems taking this as if there is a labeled, meaning every data has the, for example, room night. The room night is a label. The value is the 5 nights, for example. It is analyzing the whole room night revenue, ADR, for example, or any other length of stays, any other demand generation factors for past data from, let's say you are open 3 years, it's going analyzing every day this data and with the future data, the same data that's coming from the PMS, because obviously you have the on the books. It is analyzing the same data and it's giving you predictive modeling, predicting the future events, as you mentioned here. Unsupervised, it is this data doesn't have any labels. So basically it is, the system needs to understand what is the labels and find out. There are some models that's applied. There is a reinforcement level of the machine learning is you do have partially labeled, partially unlabeled data you feed the system. You give the system these 2 labels, without label and the label. Systems with the specific algorithms tries to understand what is this. Looking to the label data, he needs to understand what is unlabeled data. Then once he find out what is this unlabeled data, he works with the models, predictive modeling, comes up with the result. Then he understands the result. If it doesn't suit the desired result, he goes back, he does another result, another model, trains it in some kind of environment. Then it goes again. Same process goes over and over to understand best accuracy level. Then it goes to the deep learning. In deep learning, system is doing everything for you. You are not feeding anything. The system is taking everything. The system is doing the decisions for you, coming up using what the person can possibly do. For example, another very much obvious example for this, revenue managers, normally what they are doing early in the morning, they are coming, they are opening their revenue management system and looking at the recommendation of the systems that was written by the machine learning in these areas. Let's say, for example, here, it goes and does the analysis, supervised analysis or the reinforcement analysis. Revenue management system does it early in the morning. Me as a revenue manager, once I come, before putting the recommendations to the systems, applying in action, I am doing the analysis. Is the system is doing the right thing? Is the system is doing the right analysis? If this model is the best to apply, maybe the rates that the system shopped from the hotels every day, the revenue management systems is doing the shopping for you. Shopped is very much the shops of these rates is the one day before. Maybe early in the morning, once you are using you are looking for the rates is changed. Maybe your competition lowered the rate, but the system is still thinking that your competition is selling 600 instead of 300. You got my point? In these areas, revenue manager comes in telling, hey, stop a moment, it is not the right decision. He changed the rate and applies. While you are doing this process as a revenue management, actually you are training the system, giving him information, telling him that in the future, take this as account, take this as a data. What I am giving you, take this as a data. It's like you are training someone. He's doing some mistakes. You are telling him, don't do this mistake. This right answer for this is this number or this action. Then the person understands the kid. Again, remember the image. The person understands what I am giving him. He's doing another predictive analysis. For the next stage, his accuracy level, meaning his possible scenario for the best result is increasing. Time to time, you are training him, and there will be time that will come that he will never need you as a revenue manager. But the question is, do the organizations hotels will need revenue manager in the future? We will discuss in the last slide. That's almost is there. So areas of implications, case study wise, let's talk about the case study. I'll just shift the go. So what's going on here? Let me momenta. So here we do have the full revenue management cycle: demand, supply, price, restrictions, and inventory optimization. Everything applied by the revenue management system early in the morning. How the system is doing this? System goes to the past data and on the book, which is future data. He's looking for the patterns, booking window, curves, day of the week. He's doing the analysis, taking everything from PMS, and he is doing the analysis on the past data and the upcoming data, which is on the books. He's understanding what's happening, what's going on here. This is the major question that he is asking. That is very joke-wise, but actually this is what the system is doing. The next level, the system gave them supervised levels, so supervised labels from the Opera. Opera gave him room night, revenue, ADR, possible labels to him to sort it out, what's happening, to analyze demand. I'm talking about demand section. I will not talk whole processes, but whole process, supply, price, restriction, inventory optimization is dependent on this topic. That's why I choose specifically demand to explain you how it is working in artificial intelligence, how they are doing. Then the next stage, system says, okay, I have the past data, I have the on the book, future data. How am I gonna use this data? Should I use most of the past data or should I use the future data? In that area, systems come with the percentage of ratio percentage of using the past data or the future data. Meaning, should I use 70% past data, 30% of the future data, or should I use 50-50, or should I use 60 of the 40? So how it comes, it can understand, it goes to it's applied, for example, in some stable markets, you are using most of the time 70 to 30, let's say. So it's going to because you have most of the data stable. So what it does, revenue management, the guys sitting in the back doing this programming, you are not seeing this as revenue managers. You are working with the buttons, but actually what's happening in the back is very scientific. So what they are doing the analysis, and in stable market, in, for example, Doha market, you have a stable 3 years, hotel open, there is a stable, every Saturday you have this pattern, let's say. every Saturday you are doing 150 rooms. So it is using 80% or 70% of the past data and 20 or 30% of the future data to do the forecast. So this is what it means, ratio of the future and the past data. Then once it's done, then it moves to the next level to analyze the price sensitivity, past price changes, which means in past 3 years, how many times you change the price for the Saturday to understand what was that changes, what was the outcome of these changes. So it does that changes, inventory optimization, how many rooms you gave as a supply, how many rooms you gave as a supply to sell. Then it goes to the competition exchange, looking for the competition rates. For example, past in 3 years, how many of your Saturdays competition change, what was the rate of the competition, what they did in changes, what was the outcome of these changes, and how it is impacted to your result. See how it is interrelated with everything. Then it goes to the past restrictions. What kind of restriction? Like, for example, if you are selling out of the rooms, you can apply minimum 2 days. So minimum 1 day restriction, it means that you cannot book, for example, on the high demand day, one night. So the system goes and sees that for particular 9th of May is a high demand day. So basically what I'm going to do, I will apply the 5 days, minimum 5 days bookings can pass through and make the booking. Some companies are doing different model, hurdling model like Marriott, or some other companies, they are doing them segmentation models per segment, they're giving them restrictions. So it differs. So to sum up, it goes to the restrictions and understand the restriction, past restriction of the Saturdays, 3 year Saturdays and the future Saturdays, understand what is the past restriction and what was the outcome. Then it goes to the events that's happening. So asking the question himself, the system is telling how many events has happened on Saturdays in past 3 years Saturdays, and how this event impacted the overall demand. So once it finds that there is a one event, for example, Ramadan, coming on the 2017 on the one of the Saturday, it was a high demand. What it does, it goes to the future, looking for the Saturday, saying that, okay, 9th of May, I don't have the Ramadan. Then it goes to the back, then it goes to the future, taking that Ramadan effect from the past and applies to the 9th of May. So it is outlier, meaning that it is one-time event commencing on that specific day of the week. So it analyzes another willingness to pay, how many revenues, how many money that can the customer can pay. Once it's finished, it is doing this is done on the level of the semi-supervised and unsupervised, which is you give some of them labeled and unlabeled data, which is coming from your property management system. Guys, just to let you know, your property management system is the best area that way you can use the revenue management techniques. Actually, everything's stored there. So you need to be very much sure that all data inside is very accurate. It is really very much helpful for you because if you put garbage in, this is a proverb for the hoteliers, you will get the garbage out. So you need to be sure that your reservation department is working in line what is the standards. Your front office needs to be in line what is the standards. Otherwise, they're going to put something in different market segments, which actually system cannot understand, will give you different wrong data. So this process called data mining, this is coming from data science. It is taking a lot of data, using these data, going in deep. That's why it's mining. You just go in deep and deep, analyze the best scenarios. Then it goes to the modeling, training. I will just show everything. This comes once you finish your data. So you have the data, then it passes to another section of the machine learning where you do the predictive modeling. It takes the data, it does model, it trains them in the atmosphere, in the environment, specific environments like the programming language environments in some kind of the frameworks. They are doing the training. Once they do the training, they came up with the assessing of this training. It assesses, is this data is valuable? Okay, can I use this data for the prediction? What is the accuracy level? Maybe the accuracy level is 80%. So maybe if you apply this as a best case scenario, you can lose the customer. That's why the algorithms works more and more, trains more and more. That's why he needs a lot of data. Your data should be very much accurate. It takes data, puts inside, does training, assessing, remodeling. Training, assessing, remodeling. It's always like that. Once you start with the workout, with the gym, you cannot do the 100 push-ups in a one time. You start with the even the push-ups. You can start with the sofa and with your knees before you go full push-ups. Then you do 10 times, then you do 20 times. It's always training. So that system, they use this model that the human is doing to the computers doing the same. Training, assessing, remodeling. Training, assessing, remodeling. Then it comes at the end, okay, I finished my trainings. It's like you are going to the exam. You are coming to the teacher telling, okay, this is the best case scenario that I found to the machine. Machine goes again back to the data, goes through everything, sees that, yes, this is the best case scenario. Then it goes and applies to your revenue management system, which applies to the every day. It coming, for example, it's taking the demand, saying that on 9th of May, Johan, your hotel will be 65.3% occupied. And the accuracy for this is 98.9. Normally, you don't see the accuracy level of the system that you are showing. You always see the visual part. But science in the back is doing the whole this process and giving you the number that possibly you will be ending up of this day specifically. And it does for the whole 365 days. And some of the sophisticated systems can do, you can extend this to the second year, third year, do this analysis day by day, every moment. So some of the systems, they do have the 4-time or 5-time optimization, meaning in optimization, what it does, it goes to the PMS, takes new data, because every day you have new on the books, you have actualized data, you have check-in, check-out. So 4 times a day or five times of a day, revenue management system goes, grabs the data, does an analysis, it processes all this process and making training to increase his accuracy levels in the best possible solution for every day. As a human, this is the question. As a human, can we do this? No, we will not be doing this because we are time consumed. We have the time constraints. You do have the resources constraints. So you don't have. You need to eat, you need to breathe, you need to go out, you need to sleep. But the systems they are not tiring. They are doing the process all the way around. And the whole process is continuous. How the case study for the BI applies. So let's say you do have what we talk, BI is all about the history. So it goes to the length of stay, nationality, age groups, repeat case, segments, room types. So everything stored in the Opera. So, okay, revenue management part, you done. Okay, you need to go to the strategy meeting to discuss with your general manager to impose the decision coming with family suite. Okay, you didn't have the family suite, but you need to come up with a family suite as the staycation is coming, for example. As the COVID-19 is locked every international chains, everybody is thinking about them. Local market, in your local market, in Arab country, if you are in the Arab country, you are thinking about the staycation, which means that you have a high purchasing power. You can use this and you do the analysis. You go to the PMS. If you have one of the BI tool, which is like Tableau, Google Analytics, it differs if you would like to have. If you don't have, you can do this analysis from the Opera Vision. There is a Vision reports, takes the reports as a semi-structured you can use, which I was using as well. You can do modeling and in the Excel, and you can do the same process. It will take a little bit time, but same mindset. Mindset is the same. What you would like, ultimate goal. What's your ultimate goal you would like to achieve? To understand what is this bunch of information here stored in my Opera can mean to me. So we need to understand this data is invaluable. It's you can use this data in any kind of actions that can create hundreds of thousands of dollars. You are not aware maybe. Once you do the analysis, you find out, okay, you have the families, Arab families coming with the families, and you can sell 2 rooms as a family suite with a very much high rate, with a promotional rate, actually, capitalizing on ADR, capitalizing on F&B consumption. So you do the analysis, you come up with analysis, you see that your percentage of the nationality mix and the people staying in the rooms, taking the 2 different rooms, are Qataris, for example, or the UAEs. You can understand this and you can come up with the graphs showing to GM instantly what needs to be done. You take the action, it's okay, we agreed, we go to the marketing, we talk with the marketing, that the revenue manager goes to the marketing, talks to him, explaining him the data, what we need to do. We came up, we create a rate code, we create a promotion, we launch it through the distribution channels, and we talk to the sales, we talk to the marketing to launch this from the marketing perspective in social media channels and digital platforms first. Second, sales needs to sell these as a part of their sales calls as well. So one data led to another thing. Once you finish everything, your data is everything in place, you are selling family suite. After 3 months passed, you finish these months of the family vacation period, international travel starts to come, let's assume as of September. Once you go to the strategy meeting, what you do, you go back again with your BI tool or with your business intelligence tool to understand through the PMS if what you have applied is worked or not. You can understand. It might not work, it might work. It's not about what is the result. It's all about you are trying a lot of stuff. You need to try, you take a lot of risk. You need to try different models to get out of the best case scenario. Some of the hotels, they do have the data warehouse, which is actually, it is not connected to the tools. Automatically, it goes through the data warehouse, which Tableau Reader, PowerPoint, and other tools in the market that they are using. So they are using this kind of stuff to come up with this kind of graphs, showing you every night the occupancy, expected occupancy. If you're, for example, if you don't have the revenue management system, you are using only on the books, and if you have a Tableau Reader, any system, you can extract it from PMS and you understand what's your on the book, and possible you can do some algorithms, what I already told you, work with these algorithms and functions to see what's your expected occupancy per segment. It's see, you have banquet, you have complementary, corporate overseas, direct booking, family, for example. You can understand what is going on. The next one, for example, different categories. You can understand room night by market segment. What is the nationalities coming from you? It's showing in the map. So in the what's past 3 years rooms performance. So you can assess instantly and come up with the ultimate goal. As I told, dear colleagues, this is not all about what you are using. You need to find out best solution for you as you are the leader in the hotel. You need to understand what's your origin of your hotel, in which environment you are you are working, what's your resources. I'm talking more sophisticated system here, but your general manager maybe is not aware or he is not in that mindset investing money on these systems. So you need to work around, first of all, on the mindset. What you do, you go to the GM, you go to the finance, you're bringing them in the one meeting, explaining them what you are losing actually if you are not applying the revenue management system or any kind of intelligence reports. So you then if it ticks and if they understand, they will understand, because they will understand at the end of the day what is the result. They are the number guys. They need to understand, financial guys. They will instantly will understand what is the return out of it. So because there is a return on investment at the end of the day, how much you are investing, what is the ultimate goal. And it was proved that the revenue management systems actually increasing more than slightly. I assume that it's around 5% increase in the RevPAR in some properties, in some chains as well. It's a huge increase over year. So you need to set up this mindset. You should have this mindset in sales, reservations, front office, in all other divisions before you are purchasing any system, because you're going to end up with the system at home, at work, which you understand only. But people in the back, they don't understand what is it. You don't need to go everything one by one to explain to them, but you can explain them basic revenue management actions that sales needs to understand, what the marketing needs to understand, what's the front office they need to put in the system, because this is the contact point for them, because they are putting the nationality, they are putting the age group, every passport details there, which you're gonna use in the BI. Another, for example, and just in the last slide, actually we finished almost the last let's say the BI tools, I can say, in the Demand 360, which is a very much sophisticated system nowadays to understand what is the demand per segment you have you have plus what's your competition you have. It's a travel click report. Actually, well, now travel click report, they are providing Rates 360, Agency 360, which is actually giving you shopping of the rates. Another one, shopping of the global distribution system bookings coming in the market. And Demand 360, actually, if the chains are internationally purchase this product, which most of them done, almost 90% is done, you can instantly have your competition in your travel click report in Demand 360, and you can in real life, on the live, you can understand what is the competition is having in upcoming, because everybody is discussing about future, but I am talking about my future as well. But what the future of the competition, maybe they do have more corporate business, but your sales guy are sitting at office, they are not doing anything. So it is very much sophisticated system. For example, real time, what it does, it goes to the PMS of each property in your competition. If you have a 5 property, you plus 4 property, it goes PMS of the systems, dragging the data, putting on the internationally agreed segmentation. So once you open, you can understand up until the 1 year, what's your transit business, what's your group business, what's within the transit business, how much of the percentage competition has as a whole, not hotel by hotel. So it's not, it's against the security levels, but the brand compliances. So basically it gives you a whole picture what the average percentage of the competition they do have from certain segments. So you can understand, you can push your sales guys, or you can work around with the sales, bringing more groups. Maybe you are lacking from groups, because you know the groups are the building blocks of the revenue management. If you have a block, a whole month around 50%, 50 rooms, let's say if you are a 150 room or 300 rooms, you have a small groups, you can build and yield on top of it. If you don't have the group, you have a challenge to sell with the highest room rate, with the high room occupancy on certain days if you don't have a group segment, because transit is very restricted. It's not very easy to yield on the transit. So I will wrap up, and this is the wrap up of the section. So we'll go to the, so basically it's the last slide. So in the revenue management, what we did, we went what is the definition, how it is intercorrelated with the other industries, how it is invaluable. It is sell the right room category, right customer. So it's all about the right process, and processes, products in place. Artificial intelligence, it's the simulations of the machine, human intelligence on the machines, helping you to sort it out. And it is increasing, and you cannot ignore this. You cannot overlook this process. You need to be part of this if you would like, as an organization, as a hotel, as a leader, as an individual, to survive in the future. So it will consume more jobs in the future. One part, I believe that partially it will consume the revenue management, partially, not all of them. So revenue management is, once they are consuming your parts, statistical part, what the revenue managers is doing is taking more holistic view, going to the deep level. So you have the decision sets that's done. You are now commercial guy. You are deciding something that the systems cannot decide for at least 10 years. In the next years, maybe it will be more advanced, maybe in the more advanced levels, you will, the artificial intelligence will take over. But for time being, and the robots will be sitting instead of you, and there will be no need for the individuals, the system will drive. But again, you need human-to-human interactions, correlating the departments together. So basically, it is room to go, and say there is a huge way to go. BI is the software and services dealing with the historical data, making it more readable on the graphs to understand, to come up with the solution instantly in a very short time with the organizational actions that will lead at the end of the day to the revenue maximization. Application, so this is the application is all about revenue management systems, or the revenue management complex science that's working in the back of the revenue management systems, are applying all the data, taking all the data from your PMS and applying with the best case scenarios for the future, predicting the future demand, what's going to happen. So it is more dealing with the data and giving you best case scenarios out of any kind of actions. So being said that, I'm finishing here, and I have a lot of information to give you guys, but the thing is that we are time constrained. I was talking about 1 hour to finish. It's more than the 1 hour 30 minutes. So it is very much exciting topic. There are a lot of things is going around the world, so you have a lot of time to go through this data science. You can go learning the Google Digital Garage, Google Machine Learning courses, which is fully free. You can learn how it is working on the deep learning. A lot of the resources that I have put in the presentation, you can go and learn the mathematical background, what is the scientific approach that the organizations are using through sophisticated programming languages like Python, C#, any kind of the R, for example, for the data science. So I know this is very much broad topic. I'm trying to my best to mix everything in one place and give you the best, let's say, touch what's happening, what might happen in the future, and what you can apply to get better results what you are in currently. So thank you very much. If you have any kind of questions so far, I put here resources as well. So which is revenue management and artificial business intelligence. So you can just go these instantly and understand more on revenue management. Some, for example, I put here Google developers for Google, which is actually dealing with the machine learning, makes examples are best solutions for you. You can just start and apply this. Thank you very much. I am done with the presentation. Nijat, it's on you.
Thank you very much, Johan, for deep analysis. I do believe that it was very beneficial and useful for all our participants. And taking this moment, I would like to go to the question part, which you had sent during the webinar. So first question is coming from Mr. Tursoy. He's asking, what is the best way to set the rates for the new hotel? And what can you say about the Hubert formula?
I guess for the best, the way that we can apply, there is no specific rules. There's no specific rules that you can apply in specific areas of the revenue management. So once you have the new hotel, you don't have the specific data in your hand. So what you do actually, you are using the different kind of the similar markets to understand. If you are, for example, chain hotel, what the chain hotels they are doing, they are using the existing models typical to your property and applying these strategies at the beginning. I used to have the same in the back in the moments that we were talking about, we had the one property who didn't have any data. It was like Tursoy mentioned, so talking about how we can do best out of the revenue management in applying in the new market. So we came up with the solution that we applied a similar hotel that existing in the same market to apply to this existing new pre-opening. Once you apply, you do the several analyses according. So basically, there is a demand that's associated with another hotel. You are applying to your hotel because that demand actually integrated with the existing history and the future of that property, which is similar to you or similar market. You can apply. Of course, the accuracy level will be lower than them. Lower than them, let's say that in that you applied in that property. So moving forward, you can start to understand first of all the competition. So as you don't have the data more, or you have a data 70% with the accuracy or 50% accuracy, you can assign actually learn more competition, going to the competition market, checking with them, sitting with them, because nowadays it's all about the learning more on the competition, because you don't have a lot of supply. Apart from your demand, you need to understand, give them voice, to speak and to understand what needs to be done. It is all about product positioning. First of all, you come up with the product, you have a product, you position, you find out your competition, you understand what they are selling, what's their selling rate per square meter, per room. Then you do analysis of the pre-opening while you go to the market segments. Then you can do the market segments. If you don't have the revenue management system, you do some basic Excel implications of formulas where you can understand the data, upcoming data, and you can apply that one. So it is a little bit, let's say, it is applied for the international chains more, mainly because they do have the similar property in the other markets, but they don't have them. Let's say, for example, for independent hotels, you are in a small market, let's say in the one part of the India, you have a small hotel, you don't have any data that you can use. The only thing is that you can start with the product positioning and you apply this product positioning in a place. For the second question, actually, I didn't have the more information about the Hubert formula. I was dealing more on the how the revenue management systems work with them, some of the topics like the supervised and the unsupervised, how they are looking for the data from the back and forth. So some of the things that Hubert formulates more in details, I think that the area that I need to investigate as well. This is actually pretty much not so very much confident on this topic, so I will not talk about this. But this is very much things that we can just investigate as well. As I told, the revenue management systems in the back, they work totally with different formulas. There are some formulas that, for example, if you are using the hurdling of applying the hurdle pricing restrictions, it is totally different what you are doing the restriction set. So what you are doing, for example, in demand, understanding of the demand, you need to understand the demand is the supervised level, or you have a hotel which doesn't have any labels at all. So it applies once what techniques you are using. I believe this is one of the techniques that is used, and then the Go, which the game that I've shown you and the machine learning was doing, I believe they built this on on this formula as well, looking with the kinetic analysis of the moving of the end results.
Thank you very much, Johan. Just to add on the Turksoy's question, there is no such a formula as the best rate in the new hotel. Everyone have their own strategy, and based on their strategy, they're acting. Whether they are successful or their failure, it is being adjusted through the time. In the market is adjusting their rates, and the demands and the supplies adjusting their rates. A couple of examples, I had seen it here in UAE as many hotels, many international chain hotels, before they announce to open their property, their rates are normally at least 50% higher or 100% higher than the current market price or current market trend. However, this is the dilemma of the fairy story, I would say, that they do realize later on that the demand is different and they need to adjust it. I do agree with Johan that yes, we do know about the Hubert formula. However, how practical it is the question mark. Now, hurdle more sophisticated, as Johan explained it also. It's all about what is the trend, what is the demand currently. Demand could be changed differently depending on the strategy of the hotel and operational decisions. Thank you very much for a good question, Turksoy.
Before jumping, Nijat, the case is that in the revenue management systems in the back, they are not using this model. I just have a quick look. And the revenue management system didn't build on this kind of topics. It's more they're dealing with the more on the deep machine learning in the other parts, which is dealing with the artificial intelligence, which is actually currently didn't apply it, or they are not used very often. So I believe that this can be the next step for the revenue management. Think about that revenue management system still in the behind what needs to be done. So still VR systems are the accuracy levels. There are much needs to be done in the accuracy level still, and it doesn't do a lot of systems. For example, BI as well. The revenue management system, possibly they can analyze the past data and give you, let's say, set of actions what you are extracting from the BI and tools. Actually, it is very much easy, but none of the revenue management systems, as far as I know, they are doing this. You cannot go and see any revenue management system giving you, I'm talking about revenue management system, giving you any commercial strategies, any commercial actions related to age, related to the, let's say, the nationality, any purchasing power levels in the market, or looking for the market. For example, any revenue management system, it doesn't go and reads the events in the market or integrated the demand for that. So it is far behind up until now. There are a lot of new sophisticated systems coming. They're working more on applying the deep learning in terms of that. But I believe that the formula more on the other side, more on scientific, more on the mathematical, which apply to maybe other spheres. But what I have investigated and I have tried to learn and to give is the much more on the first phase of the machine learning, which existed in 1950s. We started to use these more extensively right now, and now we are calling this as artificial intelligence in revenue management. So we tend to use this as a demand forecast, but we didn't understand what the science is about.
Thank you very much. And the second question is coming from Mr. Antonio. So he's saying, good evening. Thank you for presentation, extremely comprehensive and interesting. With regards to FMB forecasting, we as a director of FMB forecast taking past trends, capture ratio, current average food or beverage spend in order to make informed decisions on expected covers and spends. Yet there is an invaluable set of info that we often do not have access to, or that it might take a lot of time to retrieve, compile, and turn usably. Is there any forecasting tool that allows the usage of the past current consumption trends for in-house guests by market segment? Means all info fed by the POS system in order to make a more accurate FMB forecasting for the in-house customer. For example, March OTA's guests are most likely to consume X amount of food, X amount of beverage, and X amount of the other revenue for each food cover served. The closest system I have used to above was the STAR with the revenue management system. Yet again, it was only the retrieved the same time last year data and not the current market trend.
As far as I know, Antonio, that's very, very, very much comprehensive the topic. Most of the hotel chains, they tend to overlook. They are not concentrated on the FMB revenue management. This is the first very much not good idea that we didn't apply. Some of them pioneers was the Starwood. Some other companies like Intercontinental, they have their own system. I forgot the name. They started to use them. What you are telling in there, looking for the trends, analyzing the data from the POS systems, and giving you the optimal spend and optimal spend for the upcoming months, understanding the data in the system, analyzing the specific periods in which dates you have the spend higher. For example, but the mindset is the same, Antonio. The mindset of the revenue management, analyzing the demand, you are analyzing the demand per day, understanding what was the consumption in the rooms. You can understand the consumption of you can have the history in the back, which you can do the trends. For time being, there is no specific models, and I can tell that the FMB guys, they are used, apart from the Intercontinental that I know personally, that they are using their own system. They have gave total, and they actually take the revenue management to the next level as a total revenue management, which is actually tend to exist in Starwood back in time. Still, for example, many they are not they are overlooking for their applying the same techniques in their properties. Actually, looking from the total revenue perspective, FMB is the integral part, and you can apply the modeling, the same models that revenue management systems is doing to the FMB. I believe there are a lot of scientific research is done. Specifically, I will share with a couple of them that they are doing. I guess as well as ideas as well. They are started to work around with these models in terms of what I was talking about, the training the model and applying to this the current trends and the future trends. So they are applying. They didn't apply for time being. They are doing some scientific research. I will share some of them, which is widely used, but as I told, it is very much pity that in the market still we are living in the artificial intelligence period. We are talking about very much machine learning sophisticated system, but still in our hotels, for example, we don't have the systems in place, everything on Excel base. For example, even so, you had for example, in your system and revenue management system that you used to have. I had the chance to see how it worked back in while I was in the integration of the Marriott to Starwood, how it was working. It was sophisticated, but I didn't see that the Marriott take this potential of the Starwood using and apply it to their systems. If they just invest, there is enormous revenue maximization possibilities in place that you can use the modeling. For example, as you can for yourself, Antonio, we don't expect from someone coming doing the model for us. You have the data, yeah? You have the data in the post, you have the current using the Starwood model. What you can do, my suggestion for you, if you really would like to challenge yourself and excel on this, nobody will gonna come tell you that here's the system and use it. Try to understand the mindset, which I'm sure that you understand the mindset. What you can do, you can go and learn the one programming languages of modeling. For example, from the data science, you can learn the R system from programming language, training the models and the predictive modeling. You can learn the Python, which is very much easy. And if you invest time, you can apply these to in your current FMB revenue management. For example, for me, it's in my pipeline to apply. I've excelled in the Python and tried to increase my knowledge and trying to apply the revenue management, not the basic revenue management that we used to do in taking the extraction from POS and doing the revenue management for FMB in Excel. I will be taking it to the next level using the Python, extracting the data from POS, automatically coming to the system early in the morning, feeding some kind of the tools, which you can just predict, apply the predictive modeling to understand what is the consumer trends. As you're all aware, we do what we have right now, which is very much precious, but we are not aware or tend to forget it's data. You have the data, try and challenge yourself, come up with the predictive modeling for the FMB on the trends. You understand, as far as I understood from your system, the comments that you put, it's very much easy for you with this mindset to build. You need only the tools to apply what you're in your head in place. So I will share with you some of the findings. It's a really very much extensive, but there is no sophisticated system for time being fully giving you what you have. Some developments are done by some of the topics, for example, by the Intercontinental, as far as I know from the IDS, some other revenue management systems that they used to do, but it's not very, accuracy level is not so very much high because you don't have the very much future data and they are not training their models extensively at what we are doing in the revenue management system in the back.
Thank you very much.
I will take a note of Antonio. I will share with him, hopefully from up until the next meeting, we will have as well the expert corner, which has actually extensive research on the overall the innovation, and we will discuss more in this topic. And up until that time, I will share with you what the findings I do have.
Yes, indeed. This is what I wanted to actually respond, that we're going to have an expert view in the on the next week session. Please join to us, and he will be able to respond based on the research, theory, and the practices in the same time. I do appreciate everyone for taking your time and listening to our webinar. I do hope it was a useful part. Please do not forget about subscribe, like, and comment in our pages on the Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So our expert for the next week, Saturday, at the same time, 8 p.m., will be Professor Sanjay. Professor Sanjay is the director and the lecturer in the Emirates Academy of the Hospitality Management here in Dubai, in UAE. As you know, the Emirates Academy is the part of the Dubai Holding Group, which works together with the Jumeirah Group in the region. They are the only one in the region by far that they had reached to the innovation and creativity researches in Middle East. So I do urge everyone to join us on our next week. Again, thank you very much for joining to our participation. Our webinar is been over for now. Thank you very much, Johan. Thank you very much for everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you.